Hey everybody, it's your wonderful good old Reverend Duke here, Anna Duke. How's it going? What I'm going to be doing today is we're gonna be doing some education. We're gonna be doing some learning today. Some time ago, in the way beyond the past of YouTube, there was a channel called H3H3. Still a channel where they went through a long, protracted court battle with YouTube to include fair use in their policy. Fair use is what we're going to be learning today. Somebody who's been a failure on YouTube for more than a decade now, and a old as fuck YouTube racist should know, based on either having been on YouTube for this long, longer than the court case that happened, or the fact just on the virtue of posting shit on YouTube. So we're gonna go over the Wikipedia portion here. Fair use, we're gonna read straight from Wikipedia. However, as you know, Wikipedia links to the actual trademark law or copyright law. For this, it'll be copyright law that we're looking at. So, let's get started. Fair use is a doctrine in the United States that permits limited use of copyrighted materials without having to first acquire permission from the copyright holder. Fair use is one of the limitations to copyright intended to balance the interests of copyright holders with the public interest and the wider distribution and use of creative works by allowing, as a defense to copyright infringement claims, certain limited uses that might otherwise be considered infringement. Unlike fair dealing rights that exist in, see, that's how you do quotes correctly, rights that exist in most countries that were part of the British Empire in the 20th century, the fair use right is a general exception that applies to all different kinds of uses with all types of works and turns on a flexible proportionality test that examines the purpose of the use, the amount used, and the impact on the market of the original work. The doctrine of fair use, again, fair use, correct usage of quotes, originated in common law during the 18th and 19th centuries as a way of preventing copyright law from being too rigidly applied and, quote, stifling the very creativity which copyright law is designed to foster, end quote. Though originally a common law doctrine, it was enshrined into statutory law when the U.S. Congress passed the Copyright Act of 1976. The U.S. Supreme Court has issued several major decisions clarifying and reaffirming the fair use doctrine since the 1980s. And most recently in the 2021 decision, Google LLC versus Oracle America Inc. So, we're not going to go over the history, that's dumb, nobody wants to read that. So, U.S. fair use factors. Examples of fair use in United States copyright law include commentary, search engines, criticism, parody, news reporting, research, and scholarship. Fair use provides for the legal, unlicensed citation or incorporation of copyrighted material in another author's work under a four-factor test, as they said in the... The U.S. Supreme Court has traditionally characterized fair use as an affirmative defense, but in Lenz versus Universal Music Corporation in 2015, the Dancing Baby case, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit concluded that fair use was not merely a defense to an infringement claim, but was an expressly authorized right and an exception to the exclusive rights granted to the author of a creative work by copyright law. Quote, fair use is therefore distinct from affirmative defenses where a use infringes a copyright, but there is no liability due to a valid excuse, e.g. misuse of copyright, end quote. Now, this is from 17 U.S.C. 107, and down here will be from 17 U.S.C. 106 and 106A. This is in regards to fair use directly. Notwithstanding the provisions of Section 17 U.S. Code 106 and 17 U.S. Code 106A, the fair use of a copyrighted work, including such a use... I can't fucking talk, shit! Including such use by reproduction, copies, or photo records, or by any other means specified by that section for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, including multiple copies for classrooms, scholarship, or research, is not an infringement of copyright. In determining whether the use made of a work in a particular case is a fair use, the factors to be considered shall include 1. The purpose and character of the use, including whether such is of a commercial nature or is for non-profit educational purposes. The nature of the copyrighted work. Number 2. 3. The amount and substantiality of the portion. Substantiality, now I understand it's a big word. That means the amount. I know it's hard, words are hard, the English language is hard, and it's especially hard when you stopped paying attention in school after 4th grade, but we'll get you there. Now, we've got number 4, the effect of the use of... I just remembered my microphone's on my desk. I am so sorry. The effect of the use upon the potential market for or value of the copyrighted work. The fact that a work is unpublished shall not itself bar a finding of fair use if such finding is made upon consideration of all the above factors. I'm not gonna go on from there because it's a whole thing, but it's Wikipedia. It's like you Google like U.S. copyright fair use, and this is like one of the first things outside of finding like Pennsylvania State University, Cornell Law School, and shit like that, actually listing the U.S. code. So, I don't know, it's just fucking lazy as far as I'm concerned, not understanding how these things work, and not bothering to, especially if you've been a failure at YouTube for over a decade. Well, I didn't find anything specific in regards to somebody stealing your thumbnail, but I did find a Reddit thread from r/YouTubers from a year ago. So recently I discovered someone was stealing my thumbnail, so I did the usual process of copyright striking. Apparently that's a usual fucking process. Only now I have been counterclaimed with them claiming they made the thumbnail themselves. Has anybody had to deal with this before? YouTube is requesting I file a court order, but I am unsure as to how submitting evidence / building case works for this. So we have... let me get to the comments on this one. These are not worth pursuing. Yeah, that's why we're not. Yeah, my favorite part of that is how the over a decade YouTube failure decided to say that we were, like, gonna go after him in court with a, like, vaguely veiled come at me, bro. 1v1 me in the street. We know what you mean when you say you want to meet us. And the thing is, though, is that if that were to happen and you were to meet us, you would get all 4 of us. Not just Frank and Billy. Bran would show up for the lulz, and I would show up just to show you exactly how fucking scary a 4'11" non-binary person can be. Now, we've got here, apparently that's a usual practice. If somebody steals your thumbnail, that's what you do. As you just copyright claim it. Apparently that's what people do all the fucking time. Much bigger YouTubers. All the time. They have people to do it for them. We had to do it ourselves. But all the fucking time people copyright claim for stolen thumbnails. And they're gonna keep saying that they didn't have that. They didn't have that thumbnail, but motherfucker, we screenshotted it. The person who actually took care of the copyright claim did the proper screenshotting and the proper, like, actual evidence to submit to YouTube in the first place that that's what was used. You didn't use necessarily our content, but you did use a thumbnail that we had paid somebody to make, and normally shit like that we would let slide, but since it was you, I don't know, something tells me that the person who made that thumbnail didn't want it used on any of your videos. And also, it was for the lulz. It was literally just to have you crying and whining. And the, you go on to another thing and say like, oh, they're gonna, they're gonna say I'm crying and whining. You are. You are. To use an old term back from the days of internet blood sports and say, you're bitch made. Bitch made. The smallest provocation and you're fucking crying on the internet. The smallest fucking provocation. And as far as the internet racist is concerned, we don't care about your very narrow understanding of how copyright works or how fair use works. Our entire channel is comment and criticism, which is 2 out of the other listed things in the actual US code itself. And as far as substantiality is concerned, we've lost viewership because people get mad about the fact that we're not just playing the videos for them to watch. That we stop too much, that we talk too much, that we don't play them in their entirety because we're not other channels who just lift videos and play them without saying anything. We are within full right of fair use in everything we do on this channel. What's not part of fair use is stealing somebody's thumbnail. Without it even being a copyright issue, it in and of itself is a YouTube policy issue. Most of the time, like I said, we would normally let shit like this slide, but you know what? For the lulz, baby! I think that's about it. I think I made my point. Let me boil it down even further so a 4th grader could understand it. So when you make a video on the internet and you upload it to YouTube, you use this thing called a thumbnail. It's a little picture that goes on the video instead of just picking a random screenshot from the middle. And it's a bad thing when other people take that thumbnail and use it for themselves, because that's stealing. Stealing. You know, like in the Bible, how that's a bad thing. Stealing. So, I'm so fucking condescending. How do you people even put up with me? Anyway, that's about it. I'm done. I'm fucking out of here. This is... I already put too much time into this. 15 minutes is too much. I love you guys. Take care of yourselves. And remember, make somebody very fucking angry today, please. For me. Just, troll the shit out of somebody. Just for the lulz, for me. Because they like to cry about it on the internet, and I think it's funny. Bye!
Continue on with your show! For your people!